On today's episode of SchuZ Views, you're going to hear from special guest Trent Hudgens, continuing the Team Harden series, and, well, he represents Moon Valley. He's one of the top defensive players in the country, so I don't think you're going to miss that. But, on my part, I'm going to let you guys know my mock draft, the lottery, rest of first round, second round, all that stuff. Players that's going to be traded, gotcha. Top 45 players, you got it. And, of course, SchuZ Zone, I'm going to hit up a few things you might want to miss. Well, all I can say is it's going to be a great episode, so don't miss it. Coming up next, episode 21 is going to be a great one, trust me. It's draft day, everyone. We're only a couple hours away from the first pick being on the clock, and boy, am I so excited. It's one of my favorite days of the year, and I hope that you guys are all very excited for the draft as well, as I'm ready to give you guys a very special mock draft on this episode today. It's going to be a great one. With that being said, I'm your host, SchuZ Schumaker, and I'm back at my home in Gilbert, Arizona, and I'm ready, and I cannot wait to let you guys hear my mock draft and my take on the draft. But stay tuned, because after the lottery and midway through the episode, special guest Trent Hudgens continues the Team Harden series, but before that, let's get right into the first pick. In just a couple hours, the first pick in the New Orleans Pelicans will be on the clock, and I think we know who it is. It's a lock for Zion Williamson, going to Duke. This is my mock draft, everyone. Let me tell you guys all about it. But first of all, like I said, Zion Williamson is the number one overall pick. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He is the guy you're going to go with, and there's no debating that whatsoever. With that being said, the Coach K said that he might just be an all-star right away this season. There's no ceiling, really. Also, Zion Williamson with Bleacher Report, he went and talked about he wants to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year all this year in his rookie season. Never been done before. But tell me about that. If he does that, that'd be a start to a Hall of Fame career. I'm not sure that's exactly what it is, but that's what's going down. Pick number 2, Mike Conley's now been traded, as we know. I'll get into that in a little bit. That means the opening is officially set for John Morant to walk in to be the dynamic duo partner of Jaren Jackson Jr., and oh boy, is that going to be special. Memphis has got something going with a new coaching staff, Taylor Jenkins, and so forth. Then we head into the other pick that's locked in. R.J. Barrett will be the member of the New York Knicks, being drafted 3rd overall from Duke University. I got that selection because I think he's going to be a stud there. I cannot wait to see what he's done. And in my opinion, as I said, I think New York made the right move and not going after AD. They have a special young core with Mitchell Robinson in the head of it, in my opinion. Adding R.J. Barrett to go alongside, of course, Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr. If they decide to keep Frank Ntilikina, got Alonzo Trier balling up. They got some good stuff going on over there. Now, obviously, we've seen some stuff. Darius Garland, he's now worked out with them. Then, of course, we saw Kobe White work out this morning. As supposedly, according to reports, he is locked in. So there's not much more to say about that. I think sometimes, though, you do see these guys that get worked out early in the morning of the draft day. They're the ones that end up getting picked. You never know, though. That being said, I think they still got to go with, obviously, R.J. Barrett there. Then it gets a little interesting, folks. Number 4 is New Orleans Pelicans. And, this might be a little bit of a surprise. Bobo is dropping. Yes, indeed, he is dropping. But this is so hard for me to pick. I don't know what to pick. Because New Orleans, they need a center at this point. Or if they trade Lonzo, they need another point guard, depending on what they get with that in terms of assets. I don't know. I know they could trade back or whatever. I think they're going to do that. I don't expect New Orleans to be on the clock here. Obviously, you've got stuff here. Indiana interested in doing. You got Atlanta offering the 8th and 10th pick to move on up. You've got a whole lot of stuff. You got Minnesota trying to move up from 11. You've got all different kinds of stuff going on. I'm going to say Bobo gets picked up number 4. People are having them saying he's not going to split past 2022 with Boston Celtics. I'm going to go with him at number 4. I think he might be. He's this year's Michael Porter Jr., but we'll see. I still think Bobo's got a prize future ahead of him. And I think pairing him alongside having a starting line for Lonzo Ball, you got Brandon Ingram, you got Drew Holiday, you got Zion Williamson, Bobo, something lethal with Josh Hart coming off the bench. That's something special. But like I said, I don't really know how to perfectly identify the 4th pick, but that's why I'm going with Bobo. Number 5, DeAndre Hunter. I love the guy from Virginia. You guys know I'm high on him. All-around defensive monster. He could be another former Draymond. He can shoot. He can do everything. He's a good leader. Obviously, national champion now in college. He's going right there to Cleveland. Pairing him up, I don't see going with another guard alongside Colin Sexton. I think he's a very good guard. You got C.D. Osman, you can say you can put him there. You got different pieces, but I think DeAndre Hunter's the best pick there. Then you got to go to Phoenix. They have the option to pick Darius Garland there, but Kobe White is on the rise. He is rising up really high right now. I'm going to say Kobe White. He'll be the new starting point guard for the Phoenix Suns. I think it's more likely there. I think Garland, I think just smoke screens of him being picked up high. We'll see. I love Kobe White, the good height. Killed it in college. Absolutely killed it. I really like him being the next point guard of your Phoenix Suns out here in the Valley. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. We'll see if they trade it either, but I think if they have both these point guards available, I would be shocked to see them move on from it. That being said, let's move into the 7th pick. Chicago Bulls, I think they're also looking to move up. They're looking to trade. They're looking for different stuff. And then they're also trying to trade for the number 4-ish pick. We'll see what happens, but I think if they have this opportunity and Garland's still available, I don't see how they possibly pass on it. I'm not as high on Garland because I necessarily didn't get to see him. I'm not saying I'm doubting him. But Garland, very good player. Very, very good player. Although, I say Chicago Bulls, if they land him, you got a starting lineup then of having Darius Garland. You're going to have Zach LaVine. You have Otto Porter Jr. Oh, boy. You got lower market and Wendell Carter Jr., which they're super high on. They got a good, solid group. You got Trent Hudgens, Denzel Valentine. You got the whole crew coming off the bench. That's the thing going on there. Number 8, I think Jackson Hayes goes number 8 to Atlanta. Yes, they could pick him up at 10 once again, but I say they're going to pick him at 8 to lock him in because I think Washington has eyes on him. They get another center to pair him up with John Collins down low. Very lethal thing. We see the big man coming out of Texas. You got LA back in the day, but recently you got guys like Mo Bamba, Miles Turner. Miles Turner. You got Jared Allen. You got a whole bunch of rim protectors. He's going to be another big one. I'm very high on Jackson Hayes. Then my guy, Jarrett Culver, you guys know how high I am on him. I think he's going to end up being a top 5 prospect from this year's draft. That being said, he's going to go number 9 to Washington. They're going to build around him. Troy Brown will be another good piece. Thomas Bryant. You got some good stuff going there. So yes, indeed, I am going with Jarrett Culver, number 9 to Washington, which leaves Atlanta. Who are they going to pick up with that 10th pick once again? They might package those up and trade on up, but if as of right now, I'm going with the draft picks and what's set in stone right this minute. Even the trade that just happened, including the Golden State going to 41. With that being said, Sekou Doumbouya, I really am high on him. I think it's going to be hard to say this, folks, but I would not be surprised if you see him turn into a superstar and all-star. He has the potential to reach something like Giannis. He's not going to be a stud this year, right now, but Atlanta has time for that. He could end up being the very best player in Atlanta. You've got Trae Young, you got Kevin Huerter, you got Sekou Doumbouya, then you've got John Collins, and you got Jackson Hayes, you just drafted at 8. I love that team as a championship contender down the line. But Sekou will take a couple of years. I don't know if he really play much this year. He's not even old enough to actually play. He's only 18, just turned 18 in fact. You're going to develop him for a year, maybe give him some minutes next year. The 3rd year, maybe start starting, playing a lot more. It's going to take a long process, just like Giannis, but he's something special. I am very high in Sekou, and if someone trades up for him, I would not be opposed to that. That's someone you can build a franchise around down the line, I believe. Minnesota, Cameron Reddish. He slided for me. I think Minnesota here, I'm not as high on Cameron Reddish, but he once again did play with the super team. We'll see what happens there. A lot like last year's Duke team. Now, Cameron Reddish, and you also got to remember, he's also like that Kentucky team. Devin Booker slided to the top, outside the top 10. Look what he turned into. He could very well be that. But at this point, Minnesota, if Cameron Reddish can potentially fall to them, they're not trading that pick. Because they need shooting. Especially if you're going to try packaging out Andrew Wiggins, stuff like that. We'll see what goes down. Reddish will be a shooter you can have right there. Slide right into that shooting guard small forward. Josh Okogie. That's nice for Ryan Saunders and that new team. Now, Charlotte Hornets only have one young position filled for sure, and that's Miles Bridges. Malik Monk is probably going to be that 1-2 guard. We'll see in the future. Obviously, they re-signed Kemba. That's great. But right now, they're going to go with the big man. Zelly did not pan out the way they wanted when they drafted him at 4. Obviously, Kid Gilchrist is not there. Marvin Williams only got 1 year left. They're going to go with the big man, Bruno Fernando, first player out of his country, out of the University of Maryland, big-time blocker, athletic, pick-and-roll man, a modern-day big man. Goes perfectly right there. I say Mitch Kupchak goes and takes him at number 12. I know they're super high on Brandon Clark. I think Brandon Clark might slide as much as I hate saying it. I feel like you might see him and someone's going to get one of the biggest years of the draft with him. But right now, I'm saying Bruno Fernando is going to go 12 to Charlotte. At 13 is where I think Bobo for sure will go. Now, one thing, like I said, I know I set up him at 4. I just don't know how to necessarily rank that because New Orleans is not keeping that pick whatsoever. I'm just saying if they end up having to take it, I wouldn't be surprised there. But I just don't know who exactly they're taking it for as of this minute. So with that being said, this is where I legitimately think Bobo will be picked up at. I don't think he's going to slide any past Miami at 13. You might say, yes, they got Bam Adebayo. I am huge, big-time fan of Bobo. I think if he would have played at Oregon all year, you would have seen some special stuff from him. He will be Miami, and he's someone that's a wild card, a unicorn. Build around him. You got Bam, you got Derrick Jones Jr., you got Josh Richardson, you got the whole crew. They're out of that depth, maybe to the trade value. We'll see, but Bobo, I say, goes at 13 at the very latest. Number 14, Boston Rui Hachimura. He's going to be a big-time player out of Gonzaga. I like him. He's a guy that you can fit into a championship. He's a championship kind of guy. He's not as good as high as a ceiling as DeAndre Hunter, I'd say. But he's still a very, very good player. I'm a huge fan of him. I think, once again, Brandon Clark could fit in here very well. But I say that Boston Celtics will go Rui. Just fits the system, putting him alongside Jason Tatum and himself. We'll see exactly what happens, though. But that's what I got for the lottery, folks. Coming up next, one of the top defenders in all the country. He continues the Team Harden series. He also with Moon Valley is one of the best players in their stars. You're not going to miss what Trent Hudgens has to say. Coming up next. It's a great one. Trust me. I'm blessed to be able to welcome Team Harden and Moon Valley star Trent Hudgens to the second episode of the Team Harden series. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's get right into the Team Harden stuff then. So how do you like playing for Team Harden?
I love playing for Team Harden. It's fun, it's very enjoying, and it's just good to be around.
No doubt. So when you originally started to choose what club team you're going to play for, what initially made them stand out to you and made you decide I want to go play for them?
Well, me and Coach Devin, he went to Moon Valley, and me and him always had a good connection. So
Okay.
he just brought me on to the team, so I just went.
That's awesome. So then for Coach Polk, how has it helped you develop and help you as a person?
Um, for Coach Folk, he put more confidence in me because every
Hmm.
time I messed up in the game, he put the ball back in my hands and had me make a play. So yeah, he just put more confidence into me.
That's awesome. So man, I know there's a tons of memories because being a part of a club team, especially you're always traveling, you're practicing a lot with each other. But what's one of the best memories so far from your seasons?
It's everything is the best memory, really. But
Hmm.
probably when we beat Dream Vision, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of the big games. I know. I'm sure that's what most of the guys when I talk to them are gonna say too. That's what X was saying. That's just something. You guys on. You guys were an underdog going in because they have two of the top players in the country with tons of the high level D1 commits, and you guys came up and put on a show and were able to upset them big time on a big stage.
Yes, sir.
So you say, talk about some of your teammates. What's the impact they have, and what are their different levels of talent? How they help you perform on the court?
Well, first I'll start off with X.
Hmm.
X, he just makes everything so much easier because most of his shots go in, and nobody
Hmm.
can really guard him. So whenever he drives to the lane, everybody just focus on him, so he can just kick it out, and then other people will score.
Hmm.
And then Jalen Anderson, he's a very poised point guard. Like I love playing with him. He has good defense too. He's smart with the ball. He knows how to make plays, get open for himself. He's just a
Hmm.
good point guard.
No doubt.
And Isaiah Floyd, he's very underrated. He's
Hmm.
athletic. He plays defense. He can score at will. Smart with the ball, can make his own plays, and he's not scared of nobody. None of them are.
Hmm. No doubt. Especially when you're talking about a lot of those guys, but especially Jose. He's one of those guys that you don't necessarily think going into it he's going to be like that athletic or do some of those moves, but he just comes out and just jumps with you and takes off when you never really expect that from someone like him.
Yeah, you don't think. Yeah, you'll never. If you look at Isaiah, you don't think that he could jump that high. I
Hmm.
he didn't, and I knew him for a while.
Yeah. That's something to me, especially like when everyone like clicks. 'Cause, once again, you guys don't necessarily have like the superstars like Kyrie, but when you guys all click the way you guys, especially playing that Dream Vision and the way some people watch you guys click, you guys can honestly be like anyone in the country because you guys do have every piece needed to win and be a very successful team because everyone still is very talented.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. So talking about Moon Valley, then why did you choose originally to go play for Moon Valley?
Well, I knew like a lot of people that went to Moo Valley,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to a middle school that's right next to Moo Valley, and then just like all of my friends just started going there, so I
Gotcha.
just went there.
Mm-hmm. Were there any other schools you're considering other than Moon Valley?
I was supposed to go to Apollo.
Okay.
Something happened, and then I couldn't go.
Gotcha. So when you're playing alongside Ty Harper, what was that like? And were there any good memories, or what was it like just playing alongside him?
It was fun playing with Ty because every game was a show.
Hmm.
And he always brought a big crowd because nobody in Arizona has ever seen somebody jump at least that high.
Yeah.
We're playing. He dunked on this dude like 3 times in a row one game, and it was. I don't even know who we were playing, but he dunked on him 3 times, and I don't know why he was still jumping.
Wow. That's something too. Those guys are just they're freaks of nature. Honestly, they're coming more and more. We have guys like Tez now. We got Devin Cambridge. I mean, there's just guys that can just fly. I mean, it's crazy, but a lot of them go to the prep schools, so you don't necessarily get to see them still on the AIA level, and that's something that's always fun to watch. hmm So, what's your thoughts about becoming a possible 1,000 scorer this next season?
It just feels good because I didn't know I was just like it was always a goal of mine,
hmm
but I didn't know I was gonna like reach it because I'm close to it right now. Like I just need like a couple of points,
hmm
and I didn't know I was gonna be up there like that yet.
Yeah, no doubt.
It just feels good.
hmm So, have you ever considered going to prep school? I mean, that's something that I know a lot of Arizona guys are obviously going to now, but have any of them reached out to you? And if so, have you considered any of them?
Last year Hillcrest, but I I just changed my mind.
Gotcha. What was the reason for that?
Coach Paul, me and him like we have a very good connection because he knew me since I really first started playing basketball.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's talk about some of your offers then. Obviously, right now you only got Idaho State, I believe. What's your thoughts on that offer?
It's a good first offer.
hmm
I could tell they're really into me, and I like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Have there been other schools contacting you?
Yeah, I have a lot of interest.
Okay, that's awesome. So if there's like one dream offer you really want to have, what would that dream offer be?
Kentucky.
It would. How come?
Well, like on my mom's side of the family, like everybody's from there,
hmm
so I like grew up watching them.
Gotcha.
So that's my favorite team.
That's awesome. So what's one thing you really worked on the out of your game this summer you really just focused on this off season, this club season to get ready for your senior season?
Became a better passer.
That's
At
awesome.
first, I was iffy with my, and I wasn't
hmm
always making the right plays. But now I'm like more crisp with my passes, and I know how to make the right play.
No doubt. So is that the one thing you really want to still improve on, or is there something else that if you could add that part to your game, you could take your game to a whole other level?
If I became more of a leader,
hmm
I never really been on a team where I'm like the leader. So like
Yeah,
I just need to work on that more, and I could definitely improve on it.
no doubt. I mean, that's something that obviously, especially playing with a team like Team Harden, where there's so many different pieces that all work. I mean, I mean, there can be multiple leaders, but sometimes there's only that one guy. But there's different aspects. Like I know, we can talk about it too. I mean, X called you one of the best defenders he's ever seen. You're probably the best defender in the country. I mean, that's something that people can take leadership into one aspect of the game, and that's something that obviously I think you are the leader and the captain of defense most likely on all your teams you play on.
Yeah, defense. I just personally, I just don't like nobody scoring on me.
Absolutely. So is that? Would you say that's like the best part of your game, or the thing you enjoy the most about basketball?
Yeah, I love playing defense because it's
hmm
better than locking your man up.
No doubt. I
Just
mean, I think that's one thing that is going to be big time. I mean, that's something that not a lot of guys still care about. Not even a lot of coaches, honestly, because it's not. It's more just about the scoring and highlights. Because most likely people aren't going to get a mixtape of just playing defense. But that's honestly still something so important. Because if you can lock up a guy, there are no highlights for that guy.
yeah, there's none. And then if he's one of the top in the nation, all the talk will really be on you.
Absolutely. So, what are your thoughts on X calling you one of the best defenders in the country?
It just feels good because I know he's a high level player and he's a high prospect. So
hmm
him saying that, it just makes me feel good. Gives me,
Absolutely. So, what would you say when you first decided to start playing basketball? What was the reason behind that, or what? Why did you start, and when did you start playing basketball?
well, I didn't start playing basketball till really until like seventh grade.
Okay.
But I used to play like I was just like a football and track star. Like that's all I used to do.
hmm
I didn't like basketball at all. But then I don't know, it just grew on me, and then
Gotcha.
I just got into it.
Okay. So, what was like? Did someone like tell you, "Hey, you want to come play basketball," or you just decided to go try out one day, or how was that process of trying to finally deciding to go play?
Well, I used to go to this park called Manzanita.
Okay.
I was playing basketball there, and there was this girl coach that walked up to me and said, "Do you know how to do like in between the legs jump shot?" And I did it. And then she said, "Do you want to be on my team?" And then I just said yes. So then I went and just played on her team, and then that was the Bulldogs, and then
Okay.
that was my first time playing.
Hmm. That's pretty awesome. So who would you say is one player you kind of model your game around? If it was a high school guy, college, or an NBA player?
Hmm. Really, no one.
Okay.
Kind of just like my own. I just go out there and play.
Hmm. No doubt. So has there ever really been a player or coach that's kind of taking you under their wing, kind of helped you develop or learn the ins and out of basketball?
Yeah, my coach in eighth grade.
Okay.
Uh, he took me under his wing because I had to move to Prescott Valley
Hmm.
for 9 months in eighth grade for a reason, and he just took me
Okay.
under his wing, and he still takes me under his wing till this day. Like he buys me stuff. He treats me like I'm his own son, basically.
That's awesome. So who would you say is there one player in high school you'd really want to team up with?
It would be great if Ty would just come back to Moon Valley.
Hmm. No doubt. Do you happen to know where he's going to be going?
Nah, I don't know.
Hmm. So is there one player in college right now looking out that you want to go consider you really would like to go team up with?
Zion, for sure.
Hmm. And how about your favorite or one player in the NBA you like to team up with?
Stephen, Stephen Curry.
Hmm. That'd actually be pretty cool. Another defensive guy to go alongside him.
Yeah.
So who would you say are some of the most underrated players in Arizona around?
Hmm. For sure, Isaiah Floyd.
Hmm.
He's very underrated. Who else? My guy James Burry. He goes to my school. Like nobody
Hmm.
really knows him, but he's very underrated.
Yeah.
Um, Jalen Anderson. Like I don't know how. Like a lot of people don't know him, and I feel like a lot of people should.
Oh yeah.
And also a Zhang that was on our team.
Hmm.
He's one of the best players like I ever played with. He hustles, smart with the ball, and he gets buckets.
Hmm.
And he's
And I think that can be a big time ad for NAU as well.
yeah, they got a good one for sure.
Hmm. Anyone else you're saying?
Also, time they don't give
Hmm.
enough credit really. Like they just think like he can just jump. Like no, he has everything in his arsenal.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something I know 'cause I'm pretty close to a couple other guys like Tez and Devin Cambridge and all. I mean, that's something that, yeah, I mean, they are freaks of nature. They can jump out of the gym. They don't, like, no, don't get me wrong. But also, it's like they have so much more to the game. They're not just dunkers.
Yeah, a lot
Hmm.
of people just see the highlights and just think they could jump, but they can really do way more than that.
Absolutely. And that was one of the big knocks against Derrick Jones Jr. when he first was coming into the NBA. I mean, or before I mean, he didn't really get drafted. They were just saying he's just a dunker. But, you put him in the league, he actually can play on a much higher level.
Yeah,
So, what would you say, like, your favorite part about playing basketball?
probably just winning. I like winning
Hmm. No
and
doubt.
everything. So
Hmm. Is there one coach you like would dream to be coached by, if it's rather a high school coach out there, a college, or an NBA one?
Coach K.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. He knows how to work with anyone.
Everything he knows.
What would you say would be some like the top five players from this year's draft class?
Zion, Cam Reddish, John Morant, and what's a good one? Probably Darius Garland.
Hmm. Yeah, he's definitely gonna be interesting to watch too. I mean, he's someone that we never really didn't get to see a lot about in college and all because he was hurt. But he's someone that's, I mean, he is up in there. I mean, he could either be, if he reaches the potential prior to injury, I mean, he could be a monster. But I mean, there's always an injury option. I mean, we don't really know until we see him in the NBA. But it's gonna be fun to watch him.
Yeah, it would be fun because whenever
Hmm.
he was in college for a small period of time he was playing on a show.
Yeah. I mean, same thing with Bobo too. I mean, both those guys are guys that could have had top five pick locked in, top five pick, or even top three pick locked in, if it wasn't for an injury.
I forgot about Bobo.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely going to be just
definitely.
who knows.
Yeah, hopefully he has a good career.
Hmm. No doubt. So, who'd you say would be your favorite NBA team?
If I say it, you're gonna call me a bandwagon. But my favorite team, the Warriors.
Hmm.
But I've been like them. My favorite player is Steph, so wherever he goes, I go.
Hmm. I mean, even right now, you can't really call yourself a bandwagon. I mean, they didn't win, and they're probably gonna lose a couple guys. So, so who would you say? So you said your favorite NBA player, is Steph. How come?
Well, whenever like I used to never watch basketball, so
Okay.
one day I just decided to watch basketball. Steph was playing the Spurs,
Hmm.
the Western Conference Finals,
Yeah.
and then he had like 44 points, and then that was just like my favorite player, and I just
Gotcha.
everything he did.
Hmm. I mean, that's something too. People don't actually realize. I mean, if people really want to call people bandwagon or just it's weird that they're a fan of that team. I mean, they can, but I mean that's something that I think a lot of people like. If it's a sport or something you never really watched before, and that player is good enough or turns you into liking that sport or loving that team, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I just think the only time you can really call that something like you call someone a bandwagon is if they're already a fan of someone else and then they go over to them, unless there's like a player switching. But
Yeah, I know a lot of those people.
hmm absolutely. So where do you think Kevin Durant will be signing this summer?
I think he's gonna stay with the Warriors
Hmm.
for one
I
more,
mean,
just one more.
yeah. I think I mean I don't I mean I really don't know. I think it could be anywhere really. It just depends on what's best for him because I mean he's not going to play us next year, so that's for sure. I mean it could be more than a year, but as we know it's just 1 year, so this basically is who can offer him the most money, I think, and whatever could potentially be because not much more on the line, honestly.
Yeah, the
So how
Warriors
about
Warriors could offer him a big contract. I feel
yeah. How about Kyrie Irving? Where do you think he'll be signing?
he's probably gonna go to Brooklyn,
Hmm.
but if he goes to the Lakers, that would be crazy.
I know that'd be definitely fun. I think any of the point guards that go there, if it's Kyrie, if it's Kemba, if they trade for someone else, I mean, it'll definitely be fun to watch that. But they definitely need a point guard, obviously, because I don't think Rondo's a good point guard, but I don't know if he's going to cut it unless they add another superstar somewhere else.
Yeah, if Kemba goes, because Kemba's my second favorite player,
Hmm.
so if he goes there, they'll just become better.
Oh yeah, I think speaking of, I mean, I know the GM of Charlotte and all. I mean, Kemba's just truly one of the. I mean, I honestly, I mean, if you, I mean, there's no way you cannot not like Kemba Walker and have hate for him. I mean, he's loyal as can be to Charlotte. I mean, he's even talking about potentially not even taking the Supermax to stay in Charlotte. When honestly, I don't know who would really want to stay in Charlotte. If we're being honest,
Yeah, because
but I mean, he's not even want to take the max, and he's just someone that I truly think that if you put him in a bigger market in LA or New York or something like that, there's no reason he can't be the same as Kyrie. Get the same. He's not as good as Kyrie Irving or some of those guys. I mean, he's obviously not Steph because Steph's just different than everyone else, but there's no reason he can't be alongside the other great point guards.
yeah, and plus he has the best step back ever.
Hmm. And it's not a traveling step back.
Not at all.
Hmm. So how about Kawhi Leonard? He's obviously going to be one of the biggest talk about guys now that Kevin Durant's hurt and all, but he obviously won the championship. But do you think he's going to stay? Is that enough or no?
Everybody knows he's not staying.
Hmm.
He's no one knows where he's gonna go, but he's definitely not staying in Toronto.
Hmm. I mean, that's something that's crazy about Kawhi. I mean, to a degree, I mean, Kyrie's almost to the degree the same, except he has a rumor about where he's going all the time. But for Kawhi, it's kind of like we don't know. It's just people make rumors up every time. I mean, he honestly, him or his family hasn't hinted at anywhere. So just people saying it's LA, it's New York, it's wherever it might be. But I mean, it'd be hard to turn down staying for a team you just won a championship with. But it's also going to be hard to pass up possibly the Clippers or something.
Yeah,
So
because
we'll have to see.
I
It's
just
going to be fun though.
so no one knows where he's going.
Mm-mm. It's gonna be crazy to see though. I think he's gonna take a little. I don't think he's gonna sign right away either. I feel like it's gonna be a couple weeks in the free agency.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. So talk a little bit more about yourself. Who would you say would be your biggest role model in your life, on and off the court?
Well, now my role model. Uh, whenever my parents lived in Cali,
Hmm.
uh, and I was living with like my grandma or whatever, there was
Hmm.
this guy named Lorenzo, and he was my friend's dad, but he was like my dad too.
Okay,
He passed away last year, so now he's just like my biggest role model, and I just do it for him.
that's awesome. And that's something that's always. I mean, it's always something that it can always drive someone to become the best person. I mean, that's always something that's awesome to have someone that invests in your life. I mean, outside your parents, but I mean, that's always something that can drive someone to truly want to be like someone like that.
Yeah.
So the final thing I want to talk about then is I always like talking a little bit about God. How do you say God's helped you throughout your basketball career and life so far?
He's helped me a lot because I've been through a lot for
Hmm.
like family issues, things with my dad. So he's definitely helped me through this journey for sure.
No doubt. I mean, everyone's got different paths to where their end goal is going to end up being. But I mean, the thing that's always consistent or can always be consistent in everyone's life is God and how He can direct you and guide you.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking to you. I can't wait to see how your final season goes and the rest of your Team Harden series. And I hope it all works out well. God bless.
Thank you.
No problem. Talk to you later. Coming up next, I just finished the lottery, but who's going to be the 15th pick and so on? Stay tuned. You're not going to miss who I have to say is going to finish out this first round and what the young prospects will be going for and how I like them. Coming up next, you're not going to miss it. 15th pick, Detroit Pistons. I know they just had a trade. They just got Tony Snell, but he's not the guy for the future. He's not the small forward or the forward, in fact, they need. But I got the guy they need. What better than the guy that I thought was originally one of the top 3 or 4 players? The guy that slid, Nasir Little. Big time defender, big time player out of North Carolina. Reminds me a lot of Stanley. He could very well turn into Stanley Johnson, but he could also turn into the guy that Stanley Johnson was supposed to become in a very elite two-way defender. Nasir Little. He'll become the new member of Detroit Pistons, I believe. I don't see why not. You got Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Nasir Little, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond. That's a nice young core. It's a nice team that's ready to go compete this next season. Big time player there. Orlando Magic. Keldon Johnson. Evan Fournier is not really guaranteed or locked to remain a Magic member. He might be traded, might leave in free agency. We'll see. They got a lot of openings. I'm not sure what they're gonna do at the big man. They're filled. They're not gonna get a center. As of right now, they still have Isaac and Gordon, so I'm not drafting another forward. Point guard, we'll see. There's not really a guard right now I'd take. So that being said, they're gonna go Keldon Johnson, a guy that was originally supposed to be a top 10 pick, along with the group of him, Romeo Langford, and Quentin Grimes that obviously slid. I like him there. He's an explosive young guard. If I'm Orlando, I'm taking him right there. Atlanta, they're going to take one of the next European guys in Luka Samanic out of Croatia. Big time player, 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, somewhere in that range. Reminds me a lot of Danilo Gallinari. I say you take him. Big time one player, once again. You develop him. You see what he's got. Atlanta's going to take 2 flyers, 2 European guys that can go develop. Maybe hold him overseas for a year or take him over right now. I don't know, but Atlanta's got so many pieces, like I said, they're not expected to keep all of them. They've already shipped off a couple of second-round picks, being the 41 and 44th pick. But I'm taking him from Croatia. I got the Indiana Pacers taking me Fondu Kabincelli out of Florida State. I like him. He's a very good defensive player. They need a forward. Obviously, Tyreek Evans has been thrown out of the NBA. He's no longer with them. Boyan Bogdanovic is a free agent. Thad Young might be moved as well. All you really got locked in right now is Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis besides that. And Aaron Holiday is looking nice. But I take Mfiondu Kabincelli. Very good defensive player. Possibly the best defender in this entire draft. Number 19, my guy, Brandon Clark. San Antonio last year took Lonnie Walker. We all know, you guys know how high I am on him. But they always draft the right guy, the guy that always seems to slide, just like Brooklyn does. And for some reason, there's nothing wrong with Brandon Clark. I love him. I think he's going to be a top 10 prospect out of this year's draft class. But he's going to slide. The matchups don't work. He doesn't fit into the scheme, whatever it may be. Brandon Clark goes to San Antonio, and we all know what's going to happen there. He gets mentioned by no other than Marcus Aldridge, Greg Popovich, R.C. Buford in the San Antonio organization. And he's just going to join the athletic duo of you got DeJounte Murray, you got Derek White, you're going to have Lonnie Walker. You've got Brandon Clark now. That is an explosive superstar young core. And don't forget, they have 2 other picks. They might package those up and move up as well. We'll see, though. Boston Celtics take Nickeil Alexander-Walker from Virginia Tech. A long, bigger point guard, a modern-day bigger point guard. They're going to take him to replace both Rozier and Kyrie, as expect them both to be gone. Good player, I think. He's going to take some time to develop, though. Not as high on him. Oklahoma City Thunder, they need shooting. I like the idea of them taking Kevin Porter Jr. out of USC here. But them taking Tyler Hero, I personally think Kyle Guy will end up being the best shooter out of this draft class in terms of just pure shooter. I think there's 3 of them being Tyler Hero. You got Dylan Windler out of Belmont, and of course you got Kyle Guy, which I'm very high on. But Tyler Hero, move him in there. They need shooting, they need shooting, they need shooting, and they need more shooting. That's what they need out of Oklahoma. You get him to starting lineup alongside Westbrook and PG-13. That's a good move right there. I like it. Next up, you're going to go with Boston Celtics once again. They're going to take Chuma Okeke. Obviously, he's the one that had that devastating injury, ACL injury, in the March Madness for Auburn. Ultimately, possibly messed up the championship run. That being said, though, why not? I like this pick that he can go rest. Just I don't know how good Boston will be next year. They already got Rui. They're gonna have a couple other guys, but I say with him, you take a flyer, you let him develop, see what he does, because he's a very talented young piece. I don't know if it's Grizzlies. They recently did the trade I want to talk about right now. As you guys all heard and know about now, the trade was the number 23rd pick has now been shipped out to Memphis Grizzlies, along with Jay Crowder, Grayson Allen, the 20-some pick last year. You got Kyle Korver, you've got a 23rd pick, and you got a future 2020 protected first-round pick. All from Mike Conley going to Utah. I called it. I like this move. There's no other team that has more interest in Mike Conley than the Utah Jazz. I'm a big-time fan of it. Couldn't be more excited. And, well, Mike Conley is now a member of Utah. I think they took a big step. Rubio's a great player, but this is the next level kind of thing. You now have a team potentially of Mike Conley, you have Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Derek Favors, and Rudy Gobert. They could be better. As for Memphis, you clear the room now for John Morant. You got Jaren Jackson Jr., as I said, and you'll be adding now Romeo Langford from Indiana. He once again was one of those guys that slid, was once a for sure lottery thought. He slid, he had played with the torn ligament majority of the season at Indiana this past year. Very good young player. You pair him up next to John Morant up there. That's a big three if we're looking out for the future. It's something special. Philadelphia 76ers, they get their first draft pick of the entire draft, and they're going to go Cameron Johnson. I think they're going to take him. Another guy just like Landry Shamet. He's 23 years old. Very, very old for a rookie that you take, especially in the first round. North Carolina, someone that wasn't ranked coming out of high school, is one of those great stories, along the likes of Jarrett Culver, along the likes of Brandon Clark, him. I mean, there's a lot of these great stories once again. They take him, he can go be more veteran, get right in that team. Because right now, Philadelphia only has 5 guys locked in, signed on the roster. They have tons of free agents. He's a guy you can go take in and make sure he's on the roster and locked in, and he's not a ton of money. As for Portland, you're going to get Matisse Thybulle out of Washington, another very, very good defensive player. I like his game. Portland can take him to replace the likes of either Mo Harkless or Al-Farouq Aminu, presumably Al-Farouq Aminu. I like the kid out of Washington. He's be a good pickup, good solid thing. Portland's obviously set on Damian and CJ, especially as they're about to extend Damian. You've got Yusuf Nurkic, you got Zach Collins that showed up, Miles Leonard that showed up. We'll see about Enes Kanter. So they're going to go to forward there. As for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to get their second pick in the draft after picking DeAndre Hunter. They're going to go with KZ Okpala. I love this kid. Howard got to watch him a ton. He had different ups and downs because, once again, another one of those guys that did not perform at a high level this year. In terms of Stanford and his school, they underperformed in the Pac-12. With him, another great shooting guard, small forward you pair up with. You're now looking at the likes of a starting lineup of Colin Sexton, Kizzy, you've got DeAndre Hunter, you got Larry Nance, and you got C.D. Osman. A nice young core that could add some more pieces, but especially like that trio of DeAndre Hunter, KZ, and Colin Sexton. Big-time guy out of Stanford. As for Brooklyn, I think they're going to trade up. I think they want as much cap room as possible. That being said, Brooklyn, they need depth. Ed Davis does not look like he's returned to Brooklyn, as much as I hate that, because of the fact that, well, he's going to get a multi-year deal, and that's not what Brooklyn can afford at this point in time. So who do you go with? Naz Reid. Another one of those top high school recruits that just slid, because there's a lot of this has been happening, especially recently in the past years. That being said, Naz Reid, coming out, a big body, can at least come off the bench and rebound for us in the NBA. Not sure how far his career will go, but that's one job. He can definitely become a younger Ed Davis. Backup Jared Allen, I like that idea. Golden State Warriors, they continue this thing. There's no KD, but especially there's no Klay Thompson. They need a replacement right now as another elite shooter. Why not take Dylan Windler? Some say the best shooter in this draft class from Belmont. I like the guy who can shoot, could fit right in, especially when you put him with Steph Curry. You can't go wrong there. San Antonio, another pick. Oh boy. Talk about Brandon Clark sliding. Talk about they always take these guys that no one really sees coming. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really know much about the guy I'm about to talk about. Watch his mixtape. How the heck is he not up top? Y'all are messing up. Listen to me right now. If you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to what I'm saying these words right now. Is that understood? Daniel Gafford will be one of the top big men, will be the top big man in this entire draft class. He is a stud. I said this last year about Mitchell Robinson. He is a stud. 23 Savage. He's a god. He plays absolutely at another level. I love the way he shot blocks. Perfect modern day center. This is him. Don't let him slip. He's supposed to slip to the second round with some people. A lot of people are saying in the 40s. Oh my lord. Come on. Daniel Gafford, watch out everyone. This kid is special out of Arkansas. And San Antonio's about to get him. So your young core now, you got DeJounte Murray, Derek White. You're going to add on to Lonnie Walker. Then you got Brandon Clark and Daniel Gafford down low. Okay, there goes another championship run. Y'all messing up. I don't know how this guy's sliding, but these recruiters and scouts are screwing up. He's got another big-time center. Now, there's another trade that occurred last night. The number 30 pick in the draft was originally held by Milwaukee Bucks. They really didn't want a draft compensation for Tony Snell and Ursan Ilyasova, so they traded the 30th pick out to Detroit for John Lure. Detroit obviously gets Tony Snell in the 30th pick. So that being said, Detroit Pistons now will select Carson Edwards out of Purdue. They're trying to move Reggie Jackson. I think they'll be able to do it, but we'll see. He's gonna be the new guy that they can mentor, develop to go with another young core of Luke Kennard and obviously the other draft pick they just got, Nasir Little. That's the end of the first round. Next starter picks are coming up next. Before I go into the second round of my mock draft, I want to go over some of the guys you might see on blockbuster moves tonight in the draft. Stay tuned. I got a few guys to talk about. Boy, is this draft going to be crazy. Alright. Looking back at the draft. Who do you remember? What do you remember? Some of the trades I remember, the big Brooklyn trade, yeah. That didn't work out well, but boy, did that impact the future of the NBA. Oh man, there's so many of these trades. So many draft day trades. So many times the guys get drafted and then a couple minutes later, they're on a new team. They switch the hats. How all the other times? There's so many memories from the draft. Well, according to Woj, this is going to be one of the craziest drafts ever and expect many, many trades, more than we've ever seen before. This is out of Woj's mouth. These exact words came out. With that being said, what's going to happen? Well, here's the rumors. Here's some of the guys that's expected to be traded, who I think will be traded. Let's start off with Houston CP3. I just need to talk about this dilemma. What is going on out here in Houston? So we originally got a report out of Yahoo. Bombshell CP3 Harden report. CP3 has demanded a trade. This unsalvageable relationship. They went nearly 2 months without speaking. They said Chris wanted to coach James Harden. It's a little contagious with two alphas. And then all this stuff. Crazy, right? Daryl Morey goes back and rejects this, saying CP3 does not want to be traded. Stephen A says CP3 and Harden have talked. CP3 then denies it, puts out his Instagram post and says, no, we've been talking. We're cool. Fake news. That's new news to me. Huh. Well, my report is, Daryl Morey, you're the one that told us, not necessarily exactly, but you said Alton's an option. You're looking to offer for Capella, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. Yeah, and Chris Paul. Huh. You're confusing me here, Daryl. I'm not understanding what you're saying. What are you saying? So are you trading him or not? Because in my opinion, my thing I think is happening is yes, he wants to trade Chris Paul, but now realizes, no one wants his contract. I can't get rid of Chris Paul. So actually, I need him. I want him. I don't need to draw him for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I think they're going to try trading him, but the problem is they don't have many assets. Of course, you got one of the greatest assets in James Harden, but you're not moving him. There's not really young assets. I'm not sure. Not really sure at all. That being said, though, I would not be surprised to see Houston trying to move him. In fact, you might even see Chris Paul, but I do believe that you will see one of Chris Paul, Capella, Tucker, or Eric Gordon move tonight. Houston will make a move in some way, shape, or form, either big or small. We'll see, but Houston will be moving today. You will get an alert. Now, some Whiteside reporter has indeed opted into his final season, but he's requesting a trade. I don't blame him. Him and Bam are not working well together. I don't know what's going on there. They got Bam. I don't know what happened there. I love Coach Spo. I love Pat Riley. I love Andy Ellsbury. I love the entire Miami front office and coaching staff. I'm not sure, though. This has been weird. Hassan was a superstar big man, and something's happening. Something has happened. He's not even really playing in games anymore. He is much more impactful. Which is why I see him being traded tonight for a draft asset or something. Something I would like to see would be a potential 3-team trade involving another person, Andrew Wiggins, that might be moved. You might see their 4th pick dealt. You might see Indiana and Hassan Whiteside being moved to Indiana. I really like that. We'll see what's going on. I do think that a team like Indiana will be targeting Hassan Whiteside if he indeed is available. Something along the lines of maybe Andrew Wiggins and Frank Jackson going over to Miami, 2 young pieces. You got Hassan Whiteside and Lonzo Ball heading over to LA. You got the number 4 pick heading over to Minnesota. You got all kinds of stuff going down. That's just an idea of what's going on. Obviously, there'd be a lot of the moves going down there. Miles Turner, I'd say you're going over to, and Jeff Teague maybe go to New Orleans. There's something like that could happen. That's the way salary works. You switch around some picks. But that's the premises of that trade potential. Watch out for it. Bradley Beal reportedly talks on LA Lakers, New Orleans Pelicans, and Oklahoma City Thunder are all among teams engaging in trade talks with Beal. Then you hear the report. that they might be willing to extend Bradley Beal. I don't know. I don't know anyone. I don't know. Don't understand it. Whatever happens though, Bradley Beal's a stud, and I don't think he's going to be in Washington. I don't know if the deal will be tonight, but today's the perfect day for that trade to get going. And of course, nothing that gets traded today or has been traded will be submitted until officially July 6th. So, yeah. Andrew Wiggins, the Minnesota Timberwolves are aggressively shopping Wiggins. Also, Andrew Wiggins decided he admitted he's going to play for the Canadian national team in the FIBA qualifiers this summer. I'm proud of that. I'm happy to see him. I think he's dedicated to get back to working hard. I mean, he's going to grind. I think Minnesota make a mistake. I think he's going to tear it up this year, getting the right people in there with him, finally having a coach to be with for the summer. I mean, how are you supposed to learn when you have a new coach every single year? That's what screws over the Phoenix Suns. The Sacramento Kings, that's why they never had anything going for them. You've got to have consistency. Come on now. They can't be new guys every year. This is ridiculous. Of course he's going to struggle. Come on now. Wake up. Absolutely disappointing and upsetting. Should be a shame. But if indeed he does get moved, I will love Miami. That's the place he can go be the best player. Does thrive to work around him, and you have one of the best coaches in the entire NBA, and Eric Spoelstra. Chris Paul will develop him at a high level. Oklahoma City Thunder. They also do not want to pay luxury tax. They're trying to avoid it. They have said that Steven Adams, Dennis Schroeder, and Andre Robertson are all very available, along with a draft pick. We'll see what goes down. I think you might be seeing a move with the 21st pick and those guys being shipped out for their future assets. A young player on a cheap contract. We'll see. I don't like the move with Steven Adams, but we'll see. They got to figure out something because that team's probably not winning. I am a huge fan. I still support Russell Westbrook. I just don't know if the team's going to win with Billy Donovan at the helm of it. I don't think it's any of the players' fault. I think it's Billy Donovan, as I said before. Phoenix Suns here in the Valley. Josh Jackson, T.J. Warren, and Tyler Johnson all might be moved. We haven't seen much interest necessarily in Josh Jackson yet, but expect him to be moved. Tyler Johnson, he's going to be a signed trade. I don't know if that's going to happen tonight or not, but T.J. Warren going to Dallas is very, very likely. They have much interest in him along with other teams. Warren, I believe, will almost 100% be moved tonight in the draft. Boston Celtics, teams have reached out to see what the interest is and if indeed Jaylen Brown is available. I don't think they're going to move that unless they think they can get another top asset to build around. I don't know what Danny Ainge is doing. But in my sense, this is my opinion. I love Danny Ainge, but I have a bold take that you guys are all going to want to listen to right now. Get ready. I believe Danny Ainge was a one-hit wonder. You might ask me, what do you mean by one-hit wonder? I mean, yes, he won the championship. That's a one hit, but in the 2000s, this past decade now, he's a one-hit wonder. Let me explain this for you guys. Danny Ainge had one of the biggest hits and biggest, best trades and the most unbalanced and uneven trades ever with the Brooklyn Nets. Landing him every asset in the world he could ever need to basically trade for any player he ever wanted and gets all the top players he could possibly dream of, all for old, out-of-prime veterans to Brooklyn. We know that deal, the mess that Billy King made. But let me look at you. What's the difference between Brooklyn and Boston since that trade's happened? In my opinion, all I really care about is winning a championship, and Boston hasn't even made it to the finals yet. So what the heck? I don't care. Yeah, it's been winning. You've got more wins, but why do I care? In my opinion, we're going to pass them about in about a couple of weeks once we get into free agency because no one wants to go to Boston. All I know is that Boston guys want to go to Brooklyn. Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, huh? Yeah. I know Terry Rozier's not happy. I know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum probably aren't pleased with the names being thrown around a lot. Now, Tatum, yes, they found out he wasn't going to be traded and he's off limits, but still. I don't know. Marcus Morris might not even come back. No one wants to stay there. The upside Isaiah Thomas. And people have said that they believe that the fact that they traded off Isaiah Thomas and a player's player upset everyone. Well, yeah. He's a one-hit wonder, folks. He can go draft. He's got how many draft picks again tonight? He's got unlimited. But it doesn't matter because they're not winning. They're losing players. So yes, if you trade Jaylen Brown, go ahead. I don't care. But you're one hit wonder right now. In my opinion, you gotta change. You somehow managed to lose out and not win games with this kind of roster and this many pieces and young ass. It's over. I don't even know what to say about Boston. They're upsetting. They're disappointing. I wasn't a big fan of them last year, but this is done. This is abysmal for Boston. I don't care who you draft or what you do. This got to have bigger change than just that. There probably will be other players to expect Denver to be active. I think they're going to move some pieces because they're so deep. They just need a couple more guys open up spots for MPJ to come in and others. Because a few other teams get busy. It's going to be a heck of a draft night. But those are some of the guys I think have a very big chance that I have pretty positive will be moved tonight. But it could be so much more. As Rose said, this will be the most trades and most activity ever at a draft he expects. So stay tuned for a big night tonight, folks. It's draft day, baby. Lottery's done. I got you guys covered in the first round. I haven't let you guys know about my take on some of those draft picks and who the players that may be dealt with. But we got 30 more picks to hit up. Second round coming up next, and I got some bold things to say, and I'm excited to get into it. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to go anywhere. Trust me. All right, everyone. So let's get right into the second round now. Before I do that, though, once again, another quick trade that might be going down. LA has reportedly been putting up offers around Vortis Wagner. You've got different guys like Isaac Bonga, you got Geronimo Jones. All of them are looking to be moved for second-round assets to clear cap space to make the next max contract and get tons of players that are just bodies that can put in that are cheap. I'm not sure that's going to work out, but that's how you have to build a super team. So look at that for something that's going to go down. I don't like the Wagner, especially. I love Bonga, but I don't like the Wagner for a second-round pick just 1 year later. Bonga, I think, is very special, so someone should look into that deal. It's not just beginning to rebuild, like Phoenix. Anyways, we'll see what goes down there. But let's get right into it. With the 31st pick, Brooklyn, as of right now, is on the clock. I don't know if they're going to keep it, but Brooklyn is on the clock, and they're going to go Darius Bazley. I am high on him, and people are going to mess up. I'm not as high as Daniel Gafford now, but Bazley as a top 10 player that will turn out in this draft class once again. He's another one of those Mitchell Robinsons coming out of high school, didn't want to play in college. Don't blame him because he didn't get paid. We know that story. But what does he do? Goes with New Balance, works on an internship with them, grinds, works hard, didn't play in the G League either. But boy, he's something special. I watched him in the combine. Brooklyn gets him. He might be another superstar in the making, another Karis LeVert type of guy, Jared Allen, and we know the rest of that work that Sean Marks and his crew does. Phoenix Suns going to go to Oregon, got Lewis King. They're going to get another player. Pretty much at this point, Phoenix is locked in now. They got Kobe White. You got Devin Booker. Of course, you got Mikal Bridges. They better resign Kelly Oubre, as understood, but just in case they don't, you can get Lewis King now. Then you got DeAndre Ayton down low. Either way, I like this Lewis King guy at Oregon. I think he's going to be a very good player. I say he's got a first-round grade for me. Now, Philadelphia gets the guy that's been slipping. I don't know if he's really going to fall as far. But I have a feeling Kevin Porter Jr. might. I love the story. The reason why I wear that jersey is truly heart-touching. I love it. Kevin Porter's a stud, but Philadelphia's about to nail the drops in the second round the way I have it laid out here. Because it just happens to fall in for them. They need bodies, as I said, because they're going to be open. They're going to try getting Tobias. They're going to try getting Jimmy Butler to come back and J.J. Redick. The rest of that bench is pretty much open, though. They don't know who they're keeping, who they are keeping, who's going. They don't know. But they're going to Kevin Porter Jr., a USC, big-time player, athletic. We know he's got all-star potential. We'll see if he can fulfill that. Then, obviously, Philadelphia, they get a pick right again, 34th pick. And they're going to go with another guy that's going to slide. He was potentially coming out of high school, a top 10 pick, top 20 for sure. He decided to stay one more year in college because he was slipped once again. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the first round. It's P.J. Washington out of Kentucky. Dominated college. I don't know why he's slipping, but he will. I think Philadelphia's going to get him. Another guy, just in case. Kevin Porter could very well fill in Jimmy Butler's spot, and PJ could very well fill in for Tobias if they all pan out well and they're in the right system. That could be two huge pickups for Philadelphia. Atlanta, yes, they're going again. They're going to go Goga Bizday. He's a good player out of Georgia, not the American Georgia. He's out of Serbia. He's playing over there. Atlanta got another guy that can hold him overseas. Another one of these guys. I got Atlanta picking up 3 overseas prospects. They got that same San Antonio format the way they build a team as Brooklyn does now and some of those other guys. Obviously, like I said, they got Sekuo. They're going to get Luka. And now they're going to get Goga. Now, he could come over right away as well. He's another good center. He could be the next. I mean, you don't really know with Atlanta. There's lots of options. Obviously, like I said, they already got Jackson Hayes to a number 8, so there's another center, but Goga could be the replacement. What if Jackson doesn't pan out? You get 2 of them, but I expect that to be traded. But Atlanta has already dealt the number 41st pick. They've also dealt the 44th pick. I mean, they're making moves. They are making moves. Charlotte Hornets going to take another flyer. Not say another one. Bruno Fernando is a great pickup in the first round, like I said, with the 12th pick. But at the 36th pick, Charlotte Hornets, Jonte Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, another Missouri prospect. He's had a treacherous injury history. Just keeps tearing his ACLs and everything. It's going bad for him. Finally getting back and they tore it again. Hornets, he's probably going to miss the season just like his brother missed his rookie year. Taking the second round as a flyer was supposed to be a lottery pick at the beginning of the year prior to injuries. I like it. I like it a lot. He's another guy, power forward, center, small forward, you really need to run him at. You put him in there, let him develop some time. You get a year. Because maybe Charlotte's going to go, they're going to have to do this year. They're going to be keeping the veterans again. They have a lot of guys on one-year deals that are veterans. Marvin Williams, you got Bismack Biyombo, Nick Batum's on a 2-year deal. You've got a whole lot of these guys. Michael K. Gilchrist on 1 more year deal. If they keep Kemba, so he can go wait, he can develop just whatever you need. Dallas, the 37th pick in the draft, is another guy I'm very high on. That's Nicholas Claxton. I think he's a lottery potential player. He's a very talented kid, just raw athletic, long, big man, pick and roll man, shot blocker. Love him, the kid out of Georgia. He's someone to watch for. I think you pair him up perfectly out up in Dallas as a pick and roll guy. So you got Porzingis, you got Luka, you got the whole crew out there balling up. You're gonna head over to Chicago. Obviously, as I said, they've already picked up the dream point guard. They got Darius Garland, in my opinion. Now you're gonna go get Talon Horton Tucker, another just solid player. He could fit in. I don't know. There's gonna be a battle. You got Denzel Valentine, Chandler Hutchinson already battling. Adding Talon Horton Tucker. There's a lot of young pieces out in Chicago. We'll see what they keep, what they don't. Rumors about everyone available besides, of course, Wendell, and you got Lauri Markkanen. I think you're gonna see Chris Dunn move tonight as well. New Orleans Pelicans. The dream person right here would be Carson Edwards. But I had him picked up in the first round with the Detroit Pistons at 30, as I said. So I'm going to pick up another point guard, Ty Jerome. I believe that Virginia has never really had great prospects as of the time. Malcolm Brogdon really came in and set that stage for what Virginia is and what up there they're building out there in Virginia. Obviously, national championship team, sorry. They've always been a contender. Ty Jerome, a very strong, very good 6'5" point guard, very intelligent, can see the floor, plays at a high IQ level, in case they move Lonzo Ball. And if they do that trade, like I said earlier, suggested with the Andrew Wiggins and all that stuff going down, and they pull in Jeff Teague and Miles Turner, then you have Jeff Teague, you can learn him for a year and then take over that point guard role. I really like Ty Jerome. He might be a first-round talent. He might go in the first round, but New Orleans, in my books, get him at 39. Out of Virginia once again. 40th pick, Sacramento Kings. Then we go Terrence Mann out of Florida State. I like this kid. Very good player, in my opinion. He reminds me a lot of a guy like Jonathan Isaac. He's not lived up to his expectations whatsoever, as we know. I think he's developing. He's got that, but Terrence Mann is almost the same exact thing. Athletic, long, shot blocker. He can shoot the ball a little bit, not at a high level, but at a time. Whatever we got to say there, I like him there. Obviously, Harrison Barnes opted out of his contract. A little actually surprising. I was expecting if he did, it would be an automatic contract extension, but he's going to test the free agency. He wants at least maybe a little bit shorter, but long term. We'll see what goes down there. Terrence Mann, he's going to be at Sacramento, can learn, develop, see a lot of Justin Jackson potential in him as well. The guy that moved for Harrison Barnes. Grant Williams, going to Golden State at 41. Golden State reportedly this morning did the trade. They got the number 41 pick. They traded that with Atlanta. They gave them $1.3 million and the 2024 second round pick to Atlanta. So Atlanta's now moved 2 second round picks. The first one now, the second one, the 41st pick, Golden State. They get Grant Williams out of Tennessee. Guy's been the best player in the SEC for the past 2 seasons. Dominated. He's a dog. He's a monster. A lot of people say him in the first round. I don't see him as that. I'm not going to lie. Usually the top college players, the guys like that. Of course, you got the phenoms like Zion. But I mean, the guys you just see that dominate college. Cody Zellers. You got Frank Mason, Devontae Graham. They're all good players. They play in the NBA, but they're not studs. That's why I see Grant Williams being. Although, someone tells me that Grant Williams is slipping. A lot of people say he's still first round mock draft wise. But I think Golden State knows someone. You usually don't trade up like this unless you know that someone you're targeting. And let me tell you something. Golden State doesn't necessarily have money. They got Steph Curry locked up. He ain't going nowhere. Boogie, I don't think he's returning now, because of what Steve Kerr said, but we'll see. Clay and KD will be offered a 5-year max, as we said last episode. Golden State will offer them that. Now, it might be a sign trade for KD, as we've heard this morning by Brian Windhorst suggested. I don't think that's happening. It would be weird, but it could very well happen. That being said, Golden State might go into a way of rebuild for a year. Obviously, you just got to get a shooter, but Grant Williams, there's another man. His name is Draymond Green, stud. Some people were saying he's out of the prime, but we found out that's a joke. He tore it up in the finals and the playoffs, absolutely killed it. But why not have a guy like Grant Williams that, in case you have to lose Draymond come next year for cap reasons, you've developed him for a year, and he literally could be the next Draymond. I don't see why not. I like Grant Williams at 41. 42, Philadelphia is back on the clock, and they're going to go Kyle Guy. Another guy they could have really taken would be another point guard like Ty Jerome, because I don't know if Ben Simmons really is the point guard. I don't really say where you run on that. But Ben Simmons, in my opinion, real quick, I wouldn't be shocked if you see a Ben Simmons trade sometime. Yeah, that's crazy. But they're going to realize this team probably will not win a championship the way they're built unless Ben Simmons gets a jump shot. I'm not doubting them. I love NBA. I love this crew, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a boatload of stuff being shipped out for Ben Simmons at some point and they add a point guard. But point is, right now, They're going to go with shooting. They need that. He could be a replacement for JJ Redick potentially, and a guy I think will end up being a very, very, very good player in the NBA and stay here a long time. A guy like Chris Middleton, that was in the second round, dropped right around here with 38. Chris Middleton was 44 actually, no, so it was right around here. He's right there. You also got someone like Klay Thompson. Could be like Kyle Guy out of Virginia, another one of the Virginia guys, national champion guys. You got a lot of them being drafted here. I like Kyle Guy. I think he's once again going to be a guy just like Malcolm Brogdon. Shows up a second round pick. He's big time. He's a shooter. Philadelphia needs that. They need as much shooting as possible. Minnesota, they're going to get a first round talent potential here. Eric Pascal, a forward slash guard. You can kind of compare to Amari Spellman from Villanova last year. Eric Pascal to Villanova is another good player. He's a lot like Anthony Tolliver in my opinion. So he fills in his younger version of that. Minnesota lets go of Tolliver. He goes somewhere else. You fill him in. More shooting to back up Dario Saric, come off the bench, whatever you need there. I like that move. Then the other pick Atlanta traded. They made the trade the other day. In fact, they traded to Miami the 44th pick in return for cash consideration and a conditional 2024 second round pick. With that pick, Miami will pick the high school guy at Brewster Academy, a guy I said I don't believe will get drafted, and I don't think he was smart a little bit ago, and I still think he should have went to college because he wasn't even ranked a top prospect. Point is, though, I am getting drafted second round, 44th pick, Miami Heat, Jalen LeCue. He's athletic, don't get me wrong. They got Derek Jones Jr. That would be something special and fun. As I said, they might be getting Bobo as well. I like that duo. I like that team. He could run. He could be a future point guard. Develop into that for you. Because I don't think he's gonna get a lot of playing time this year. But a lot of G League action this year for Jalen LeCue. Detroit, the 45th pick. They don't really need a four anymore. So why not go with Lindo Whittington? I love Lindo Whittington. I think he's underrated as all get out. He had that monster dunk. He's athletic, can run guard forward. I really like Lindo Whittington. Expect him to be picked up around here, but he's going to put on a show for the Detroit Pistons. I like it a lot. I truly do. Next up, the Orlando Magic. Listen to who they're going to get here now. O'Shea Brissett might ring a bell a little bit. Played for Syracuse. Shot blocker. Forward. I would not be shocked if you see Aaron Gordon move tonight as well. Another guy to keep your eyes open for. I don't think he's a part of this core. John Hammond didn't draft him. He's not as high on him. You move him. I don't know if they're going to do a Bamba either, but he could be another guy you just put in there. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of those guys. They have some good prospects on the bench. I'm not sure, but I like the O'Shea Brissett guy. Sacramento Kings, Zylan Cheatham out of Arizona State. Team up two Arizona boys and Zylan and Marvin Bagley out there. I like it. I love it. Sacramento's obviously got all young pieces filled, especially at this point after getting Terrence Mann. You already got De'Aaron Fox, you got Buddy Hield, you got Bogdan, you've got Marvin, you got Harry Giles, you've got all kinds of stuff. Harrison Barnes, theoretically still. Zylan Cheatham, he's the guy that might not get drafted, I don't know. I wish him the best of luck, I hope he does. I think he's very talented. I think he fit him perfectly right there. A backup for Marvin down the line, a potential starter, we'll see. LA Clippers got a guy that some people say will be in the high second round. I have him going at 48 to the LA Clippers, Daquan Jeffries out of Tulsa. Another one of those 6'5", 6'6", small forward, shooting guard kind of guy. He can ball up and play defense, shoots the ball a little bit. He's a good player. 49, San Antonio Spurs once again. They're going to go to overseas if they get. They're probably going to take him and store him overseas for a year, I'd say, or two. I don't know exactly what's going to go down here now. That's just my take on what's going to happen with what they're doing right here. That being said, I still going to pick Dividas Servitas. He's a good player. He's out of Lithuania. Pick him up there. They're taking enough sliders. I don't think they're going to have all these picks, though. I think they're going to trade some for veteran. They might move up, move down, and we'll see what happens. But that's what I got saying there. Indiana Pacers at number 50. They're going to get Kai Bowman out of Boston College. Now, I expect them to get a better point guard. They already got Aaron Holiday developing, but why not take him? Usually, the bottom 10 don't really become something. It's kind of just go to work. We'll see what happens there. Although we got Isaiah Thomas, I wouldn't say I said he turned out pretty well. He turned out mighty fine. Potential. He almost won MVP a couple years ago. So I say he's a good idea. Let's go get Kai Bowman there. Boston Celtics, their dream player would have been Kyle Guy's situation, but as I said, he's going to be picked up early to Philadelphia at 42. I say I'm going to go with Isaiah Roby at Nebraska. I'm very high on him. We're going to run him point guard through small forward, power forward. Can finish above people really well, gets to the rim. Great defensive player. He's played very hard, just like Nicholas Claxton. Those are two guys, and Baisley also. All three of those guys really impressed me during the NBA Combine. Now, as for 52 Charlotte Hornets, Lugarius Dort out of Arizona State. It's crazy to think that he slid this far where he might not be drafted now. Zylan Cheatham might be drafted in front of him if either one gets drafted at ASU. Was regarded as the first round pick to start the year. He slipped, but a good talent for Mitch Kupchak and the Charlotte Hornets to once again gamble on. He's athletic, can get to the rim, could potentially be what they want Malik Monk to be. We'll see what happens there. As for 53, Utah Jazz, they get the next pickup. They're going to go with Joshua Obisi out of Germany, a point guard they can go hold overseas and develop. First player that they're going to get out of the draft, obviously, is the Mike Conley trade. I think they would love to get him like Grant Williams as well, but I say he's going to go up higher than 53. I would be shocked if he goes that far. But Joshua Obisi out of Germany, they're very high on Exum. Obviously, they did not include Exum in the Mike Conley trade. They rather opted to put in Jay Crowder, which you can debate that. I am so high on Exum. You guys already know it, though. I say he's going to be a top player. I like him. I think he could be the point guard of the future after Mike Conley. He just got to get healthy. Still only 23 years old. Signed up 2 more years. But why not have this guy developing him overseas for 2 or 3 years? See what he's got going. He's a very young, I believe he's only 17 or 18 years old. Good looking player. Philadelphia gets another pick. Yes, they got a lot, so they're going to start trading a ton of them. Just get ready. Anyways, they're going to get Adam Mokoku out of France. They're going to hold him overseas. He's a good shooter. He can shoot the ball real well, honestly. He's a very good defensive player as well. We'll see what happens, but hold him overseas for a year or so. He's out of France once again. 55th pick, New York Knicks, Admiral Schofield, another one of the Tennessee guys going in the second round. We haven't seen a lot of Tennessee guys being picked up in the recent years, so it'll be interesting to see. Real tough, physical, grinded out guy. Kind of be the new Lance Thomas kind of guy, as they're going to waive him most likely. I like Admiral Schofield. LA Clippers, they're going to go with the big fella. And when I say big fella, boy, do I mean big fella. Taco Falls. Everyone loved Boban. He's having his own show. He's acting. He's fun. He's awesome. Clipper fans loved him, and oh man, did they miss him once they traded him. Well, y'all get him back. Taco Falls at UCF. Everyone learned his name. Going against Zion, big time fella. He's 7'6", 7'5", whatever you want to call him. He's a big man. Big time, big time, big time guy. It's going to be real interesting to see what he's going to bring to the table. I like seeing him. I say LA Clippers pick him up. He's a gamble. Will he be able to become a superstar? Probably not. But can you develop into what Boban is, getting good minutes, and you're going to go take him at 56? Why not? New Orleans Pelicans also would be interested in him. I hear, but they're going to go with the overseas prospect in Yobo Zuzman. Just a good shooter. Very good shooter out of Israel. We'll take him at 57, hold him overseas for a long time. I don't know if they're necessarily come over, but we'll see. 58, Golden State's up again. They're going to take a slider. Jalen McDaniel, supposed to be a high second-round pick. Might fly to them. A guard, forward, kind of mix up. I like him out of San Diego State. Toronto Raptors at 59. You're going to get Aubrey Dawkins. The guy that showed up big time for UCF. He's the guy that almost won it for Duke. Coach's son, former Duke player's son, Coach Dawkins. He's a stud. I think you're going to see him. He could potentially be one of those guys that make an impact, like Isaiah Thomas did. And the guy, number 60, going to Sacramento Kings, Brian Bowen out of Australia. We know the whole scandal issue. He's been a part of the NCAA. Played of Australia, played real well, developed his game, as he said. I like picking him at number 60. With that being said, though, folks, that's the second round. That's a complete mock draft. I hope you all enjoyed it, because that's what I got to say about the NBA mock draft and what's going on tonight. The draft's going to be big time, though, folks. Stay tuned, everyone. Next up, I'm going to let you guys know who I think the top 45 prospects will be in this year's draft. I'm going to go through it real quick, but stay tuned. You're not going to miss it. I have a lot of surprises, ups and downs. Oh, just wait. I'm not going to tell you guys too much, because it's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Alright, y'all, so number 1 overall pick, we know that's Zion Williamson. I say he's the number 1 player. I don't see how you don't replace him. I think there's guys that could pass him, but there's no way I'm going to rightfully say he's not going to be the best player. You just can't. He's Zion Williamson. You see what the guy's doing? Sorry. He's athletic Charles Barkley, in my opinion. I don't necessarily like the LeBron comparison. I don't like when people just keep saying, oh, he's the next LeBron, he's the next KD. Stop it. Everyone's not the next LeBron and KD. We're not going to get into that another time. He's the best player in this draft class. John Morant's number 2, and of course, RJ Barrett's number 3. Studs. We know it. All right, cool. Now it's going to get interesting. 4th best player, in my opinion, is Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech. He's a stud. Gets the rim. Can score. He's a lot like Karis LeVert, in my opinion. Number 5, Sekou Doumbouya. He could be the number 1 player. He'll keep rising. I think he's going to be around here. I think he's a legit stud, as I said. Now, number 6 is Bobo. I think if he reaches potential, he has potential to be one of the best players in this draft class, if not the best as well. Super long, athletic. We know what the guy can do. It's a stud. Then, number 7 best player, Daniel Gafford. I told y'all, I'm high on him. Mitchell Robinson, Rudy Gobert, all of them. Why not? Number 8 then, Kobe White, stud. We started at North Carolina to be a tall, go to the rim, good player. Then I'm going to have Jackson Hayes. I like the guy. He's a great player out of Texas. Darius Baisley, number 9 out of high school. I told you, Brooklyn might get him at 31. Was a Sean Marks kind of guy. Big time player. Watch out for him. Bruno Fernando, a lot like Clint Capella. I like the guy. Pick and roll, you can use him great. DeAndre Hunter at number 11, I think he's going to be a very good player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to be better than the potential these guys can. I like him a lot, though. Then, I'm going to put him up at number 12, Mfiondu Kabengele. Very good player. I like him a lot. He's going to be a steal for sure. But as I said also, Daniel Gafford, he might just be the biggest steal. He's going to be the biggest steal of this draft. He might just be one of the biggest steals ever. Then I'm going to go Nicholas Claxton. He's a stud, big-time player. Not going to miss out what he's got. PJ Washington, I said he's sliding, he slipped. He's up there. I think he's going to be a great player. Can shoot, defend. He's a great rebounder, though. Rui Hachimura, big-time player at Gonzaga. Watch for him. He's going to be a very good player on a championship kind. He's a championship kind of piece you're going to want, one of those good veterans. Keldon Johnson's going to be a good player as well. I like his athleticism. He can shoot, get to the rim. He reminds me a lot of good players like Jeremy Lamb. A lot of guys that can just have a good career in the NBA. Dion Waiters, a lot of them. Cameron Johnson, I think he's older. He's going to be like that Kyle Kuzma kind of feel. I see him turn out to be a lot like Kuzma. He would look very good, but he's still going to be older than everyone, so he's kind of be like, iffy. What's his true potential like? He's already kind of in his prime. Kevin Porter Jr., I think he's going to surprise a lot of y'all. Maybe I didn't hear him because USC kind of was disappointed. There's been a lot of scandal issues. He's a stud, trust me. Nasir Little, I thought he once was going to be superstar material. Clearly not. I like him though on defense. He's going to be a good defensive player. Now y'all are probably going to kill me on this one. I know. But Darius Garland, yeah. He could very well end up being one of the top players, not the top player, but I just don't know. He had a major injury. He missed an entire year. What is he going to be? I don't know. We'll see. Brandon Clark, this kills me to say it, but I think he has the potential to be way higher than this. ESPN ranks him at 25-26% chance of being an all-star. Second highest behind Zion Williamson, 59%. I like him. I love Brandon Clark as both a role model. He's a great person. I think he has a chance to be a top 10 player, though. Lucas Amane, a great European player. Watch him develop into Danilo Gallinari kind of guy. Tyler Hero, a guy that can shoot lights out. He's going to be another JJ Redick kind of player. Reddish, oh boy. Y'all are going to lay into me right now. I think he's the 24th best player. Disappoint me. I know Wendell Carter. A lot of people said about Grayson Allen, Gary Trent. All those guys. What about Trayvon Duval? Y'all said that last year. What happened to them? I'm sorry. I'm not sold on Cameron Reddish. I'm just not. Wasn't really impressed. Naz Reid, he's going to be a great rebounder, presumably off the bench, a Kendrick Perkins kind of guy. I like him. Isaiah Roby, another high flyer. You guys are missing out on him. He can finish over a lot of people. Matisse Thybulle out of Washington. Like I said, a good player. I like him a lot. Great defensive player out of Washington. Lewis King from Oregon, another good player. All around, he's going to do two-way kind of player. I like him a lot. Get ready to watch out for that guy. Jonte Porter, if he can ever get healthy, stays healthy, watch out. Another good big man pick and roll, shot blocker. You're going to really like what he can bring to the table on a lot of teams. I like Bam Adebayo possibly. Ty Jerome, I've talked about him. I love the Virginia prospect. He's got some skill. Romeo Langford at 31, he does have a lot of potential, but I think he's a little undersized and too thin. We'll see if someone can get him and develop him right. I think the situation I said out of Memphis would be best for him. Guga Bizide, we'll see what ends up turning out with him. I think he's got potential, but at the same time, he needs a lot of work and development. He's still super young, coming over from overseas. Kyle Guy, he's been a lights-out shooter. I like him a lot. Reminds me a lot of Steve McKayla from last year. See what he's going to bring to the table, but I say he's going to be a high second-round prospect, could be even higher. KZ Okapala, I think I'm going to rank him up higher. I have him at 34 right now, but presumably I say he's a top 30 for sure. He can ball up. I like him a lot. That might have been a misrank, but KZ, I'm putting him at 34. He can prove me wrong. I think he's going to be way higher. Dylan Windler, I think he's going to be a good shooter, but I'm not sure how good. I like Kyle Guy, and I like Tyler Hero before I like him. Then I'm going to go Nikhil Alexander Walker, big long point guard, but I'm taking Ty Jerome before him in terms of the big point guard. Not a big fan of him. He's very raw. He's got a lot of work. Not really flashy. Doesn't really have a lot of the skill, but we'll see. Chuma Kiki's got to get healthy, but he's going to be a stud. I like him. He's a good gamble for teams to pick up on. Eric Pascal, I'm not as high on him either. Wasn't really impressed with him, but he's got a great game. Carson Edwards at 39. He might work his way up. Prove me wrong, but he's still under 6 foot. It's very hard to play at the NBA level. We'll see if he can be who invests in him and how he develops. Cannot Purdue that tore up March Madness. Big time player. I'm not going to talk about Terrence Mann. Another defensive player, like I said, reminds me a lot of Jonathan Isaac. Defensive, two-way kind of guy. Also look at someone like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. He's that kind of man. Aubrey Dawkins, watch out. He's going to be in the league for a few years. Can ball up. Gary Clark, what he did for Houston, could very well find a role just like that. I mean, yes, you could say he plays in his college game and highlights. You could say he looks kind of like Paul George. That's not probably going to happen. But I'm not going to be a guy that doubts anyone. Anyone that puts in the work and become what they need to become. Talon Horton Tucker, he's another good player out of Iowa State. Followed by his other teammate, Linda Whittington. Two good players. I like them both. Whittington, I've talked about. He's athletic, Go get him. He's going to be a lot of upside. Talon Horton Tucker, no, I'm pretty high on him as well. I'll see what he does. I say he's going to be in the league for a couple years. Zion Cheatham, my next guy, good player at ASU. I think he's going to have a good career in this modern day NBA. And finally, Taco Falls, Louis Doret. Some guys that's not necessarily in there. We'll see what goes down. Don't forget, you guys got like Tyus Battle. You're going to have Brian Bowen. You got Grant Williams, but I'm not a big fan of them. Just what it is. But that is my top 45 players that I expect you'll be seeing in the NBA for a long time. Go check it out. But draft is big time. It's tonight, folks. I can't even believe it. Next up, SchuZ Zone. Oh, it's a fan favorite, and I got a few things to talk about in regards to the Raptors parade. What Golden State did for the Toronto Raptors that not many people probably heard about. Space Jam 2, that's going to be loaded. LaMelo Ball, okay, just wait. You're not going to miss what I have to say. Big time things coming up next on SchuZ Zone. You're not going to miss it, folks. Alright, first thing SchuZ Zone, I'm talking about the Raptors parade. Marcus Gasol, celebrating. That was absolutely incredible the way he celebrates his energy. He deserves it. I think he's locked in the Hall of Fame. Kyle Lowry wearing the Damon Stoudemire jersey. The man that mentored him, the guy that wanted him to come to Toronto, the guy that coached him up. Couldn't honor him more. The story behind that was great. McCaw, fun fact, never lost a championship in his career, not Golden State and Toronto. What do you know? Drake flew his plane around Toronto during the parade. That was legendary. Obviously, this was huge for Drake. Now, bad news, though, two people were shot. It was serious but not life-threatening. Prayers for those people. Upset that had to happen. I'm not sure how, but yeah. I do want to talk about this Kawhi Leonard. Man, I think we all underestimated him. The media can make anyone look how they want them to look. I think they made him look like a quiet, shy, awkward person, but guess what? Kawhi's funny. Kawhi is normal. I think that it's funny. It's awesome. Kawhi Leonard made the joke about his laugh. That was absolutely legendary and awesome at the parade. He deserved it. He let it. I don't know if he's staying, though. There's a lot of rumors of him leaving for LA Clippers. It's upsetting. I love this Toronto Raptors team the way they look, but it's looking like he's going to the LA Clippers, in my opinion. Now, I do want to talk about Golden State. They earn my respect. They took a full page out of the Toronto Star, their newspaper, to congratulate the Raptors on winning the championship. Big time props to the Golden State Warriors organization, whoever's idea that was big time. Way to do that. Space Jam 2 cast was announced. Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Diana Taurasi, Chiney Ogbuke, and many more. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see that. There's more guys going to be announced. Movie comes out in a long time, though, so we got a long time to wait. Finally, LaMelo Ball will be playing in Australia and hopes to be the number one pick next year. Also, Terry Armstrong will be going overseas or G League. We'll see where he plays. But LaMelo Ball, RJ Hampton, Terry Armstrong, Kenyon Martin Jr. all not going there. It's crazy. I'm going to talk about Terry Armstrong for a second, too. What happened there in his situation is ridiculous. It's upsetting for the thing that happened to him. I don't even want to break the news that I said, but something screwed it over. He's not able to play college basketball this year. I am glad he gets to go get paid, though, but he can't just be a kid. If he truly wanted to become a college player, they should have let him, and that school should not have screwed him over. That's all I'm going to say. That's it for SchuZ Zone today, folks. Next episode, I'll have more for you, and you're not going to miss it. It's big time, folks. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Get ready for the NBA draft. I hope I prepare you guys with knowledge for the players, who you guys think is going to be good, and what could be going down. But I hope you guys all enjoy it, because this was one of my favorite episodes to do. I've been dying to get to this stuff. Now, to stay up to date on my future show, future guests, and so much more, only one way to do that. Go follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Schumaker. Whatever you want to do, go do that. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go like my Facebook page, SchuZ Views, Schumaker. Oh, you're not going to miss that stuff. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a 5-star, comment, favorite, applaud, like, whatever you can do to please continue to grow SchuZ Views. It's going big time. You guys can see all the creative stuff that's going down, and I just want you guys all to be a part of it. Send in voice messaging. Yeah, I know it might be confusing. Text me, DM me, whatever you want to do to learn how to do it. You're not going to miss it. I'd love to hear from you guys and put you guys in my podcast. Now, Team Harden series will continue. We're going to have so much more you're not going to miss. 2 more guests being Jalen Anderson and Zay Floyd. Oh, it's big time. Now, first episode of the Breakdown, my TV show, is coming soon with Quincy Taylor. You're not going to miss that as well. With that being said, everyone, go enjoy the draft. It's going to be awesome. And SchuZ is out. Everyone go be the light, and God bless.